Just recently, the cryptocurrency market had one of the most significant shifts in over a year, and it's possible that this is the most pivotal stage before the next massive leap. Even though we're only 48 hours removed from that massive drop, the data is looking bad everywhere. On the day, Ethereum plunged by double digits, Bitcoin fell by over 7%, and several cryptocurrencies, including well-known names like XRP and XLM, fell by over 12%. It seems like a catastrophe is just around the corner. A lot of people are scared on social media, and the stock market is getting redder for investors. Much though most people won't notice this, the market sets its most profitable winners unconsciously at specific points. This is not a financial advisory. When the most popular coins lose 20, 30, or even 40% in a week or less, it's obvious that wealth is being transferred, not merely fear. The hurried are making a killing, while the cunning are quietly setting up shop. If you're skilled at reading market behavior, this degree of volatility could mean that the corrective phase is over and a bear market is about to begin. However, before we dive in, the XRP Millionaire Blueprint is a must-read for anyone serious about making money off of XRP's future. My methodology for detecting comparable setups before to their eruption is demonstrated in this in-depth examination, which includes a polished article, photos, and video instruction. The pinned comment underneath the video presents all the essential details in a structured and straightforward manner. We need to tackle this problem directly now. As reported by the Daily Market View, the sell-off had a significant negative impact on nearly all major coins. Ethereum dropped below $3,250. Bitcoin dropped to approximately $1,400. XRP hit lows of 152, and the day saw highs around 255. Moving from one WIC to another in the span of a single day results in a reduction of over 40%. While these are significant shifts, they are par for the course in the Bitcoin market. The truth is that this type of shakeout has been the beginning of nearly every major rally we've seen. When the COVID crisis occurred in 2020, the entire cryptocurrency market lost over 65% of its value in just a few weeks. The market value has fallen by over $1 trillion, or around 24% from its high, by the time we reach the present. That appears awful unless you back off. This sort of correction is actually helpful from the perspective of the market's overall trend. When you reset the table, you get rid of any residual leverage, fortify weak hands, and refuel for your next play. Total 3, which encompasses the entire altcoin market, tells a similar story. Among the most severe drops in market value recently, the 46% drop in cryptocurrency value on a single weekly candle is noteworthy. However, when compared to graphics from previous cycles, something stands out. Every time we've seen a change this drastic, months of gradual accumulation have preceded massive expansion. Exactly as expected, the current candlestick has retraced into demand zones that commence in the year 2024 and beyond. In the moments leading up to a product debut, this is precisely what a market does. A retest of previous structure is being administered. It is now time to look at the RSI. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP's Relative Strength Index (RSI) values across daily and weekly charts are quite near to the positions we noticed around the bottoms of April and June. Relative Strength Index (RSI) is a measure called momentum. For the past many years, this level of the RSI has always indicated a significant turning point. Despite the possibility of slightly erratic trading this weekend and into next week, the negative momentum is starting to fatigue. Then we can go on to a subject that most people don't care about. But once that happens, customers will return. Given the characteristics of this sell-off, it was neither a slow bleeding nor a retail panic. This whole thing happened during a liquidation, and in the span of a few hours, leverage positions valued over $16 billion were rendered worthless. Forced sell orders totaling billions of dollars were the consequence of a chain reaction that began with that. Veteran investors often warn against employing too much leverage in cryptocurrency, since one unexpected cascade may quickly deplete a complete portfolio. It wasn't organic selling, but rather a liquidation reset. From what we've seen in the past, The worst of it typically goes away very quickly after that. In an effort to gain liquidity, the price of XRP dropped to $1.52. The market swiftly recovered and regained the 1.70 support level when deep orders were filled and stop losses were erased. A local bottom is generally on the horizon, and this is a classic illustration of market manipulation, not weakness. When we examine the historical price structure of XRP, we see that every major run began with a similar abrupt surge. A massive shakeout to clear the board, some mild accumulation, then a sudden vertical move caught everyone off guard. Even when looking at the broader view, everything appears to be fitting together. In a recent interview with CNBC, Fundstrat's Tom Lee said that the VIX increase was among the largest in recent years and ranks in the top 1% of all hikes in history. To put it simply, it indicates that people are becoming increasingly anxious. When people are really scared, the strength of their forward returns is usually at its peak. After such spikes in volatility, markets often bounce back, and sometimes even go up, a week or so later. The Bitcoin charts are currently showing that to be true. Prices dropped as liquidity dwindled and anxiety levels skyrocketed. The same mental cycle keeps happening over and over. As prices fall, retail investors are getting out of the market. Institutions stock up as news of fear spreads, and then, after a few weeks, the same people who sold start chasing green candles again. Despite being the oldest story ever recounted, it continues to resurface because, in the present moment, emotions always triumph over logic. This is why it's so important to be patient and have a wide perspective. The present downturn is merely preparing the stage for the subsequent upswing. Could a bear market be on the horizon? We are not asking that. Before additional funds flow back, it is critical to recognize this opportunity for what it is. Because as you might remember, the fundamentals are constant. While institutional usage increases and legal clarity improves, initiatives like Ripple keep moving forward at a dizzying rate with partnerships that traditional finance can't ignore. Additionally, Bitcoin's dominance has been growing throughout this decline, which is typical during market resets. Once that stabilizes, liquidity usually pours back into cryptocurrencies. Also, XRP has historically been one of the best performing assets over that period. The pattern and mood have returned, and the technical signs are once again converging. Consequently, the result of the next run can depend on this exact second. Why? Reason being, once the healing process starts, it will speed up considerably beyond anyone's expectations. That is something that catches retailers off guard all the time. During the turnaround, there will be no other chance to buy at the same prices. Some investors are going to say, I should have bought the dip if the current panic subsides. Once Bitcoin recovers and approaches $120,000, XRP will once again surpass $3. We are not quite there yet, but we are establishing the groundwork. When we pull back from the details and look at the bigger picture, it's easy to see how clear it is. For months, a far larger macro cycle has been quietly gathering steam, and this entire event fits into it. Prior to any new crypto bull run, there has historically been a severe correction. The market always resets sentiment and liquidity before the next significant growth. We will start by taking a look at Bitcoin, since it remains the focal point of the crypto world. No matter how bad things become, Bitcoin's foundation is still rock solid. There has been no change to the macro upper lows due to the current drop towards $146,000. Since April, when we hit rock bottom at $98,000, we have come a long way. Despite the tremendous short-term volatility, Bitcoin's uptrend remains intact, as shown above. The weekly RSI is once again approaching the same area that we've seen before prior market bottoms. There is a perfect storm brewing for a liquidation washout before the next rise, when you consider that funding rates were already fairly stretched before the downturn. This is what is fascinating about this particular second. Even if Bitcoin is the undisputed leader in crypto bull markets, the true winners are those that diversify into altcoins. Following a shakeout such as this one, Bitcoin often stabilizes and consolidates before the rotation takes place. Coin values for alternative cryptocurrencies started to soar in 2017, about 6 weeks after the March crisis. In 2021, it only took 3. The time between now and the end of November could be your final opportunity to accumulate cryptocurrencies before the market bursts again, if the present trend continues. This is an area where projects like XRP really shine. The most profitable periods for XRP have historically occurred when investors began to pour money into assets with strong utility stories and Bitcoin's volatility decreased.